Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today is finally the day we get to put together this 1958 Kaye Stratocaster. So for all of you guys who are new here, I have worked on this guitar for probably the past 4 or 5 months and detailed all of that on YouTube, so you can go check out all the videos in the links down below. So today's plan is to get this guitar put together and hopefully playing right, and if all goes well, we will play it today through the 59 bassman just as a test. And then over the next week, I will try to tweak the guitar and do a final video on it, hopefully by next weekend. First thing I want to do is put the tuners on this Stratocaster neck. This is a 57 maple neck, and we have all the original gold hardware here. Then we'll bolt this neck on, do a little soldering, and this guitar will be ready to go. So finally, I want to say thank you guys so much for sticking along with me this whole time. And I know it's been a really long process and a lot of work, but I've really had a fun time doing it. So if you guys dig this video, leave a comment and let me know, and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, so first thing we got to do here is throw these tuners on the back of the headstock, and you can see these tuners are in really good shape, actually. A lot of the gold has been kind of tarnished or worn away on this guitar, but these tuners are really good looking. All right. Those went in pretty easy. I'm just going to line these up the best that I can. You can use a straight edge if you were so inclined, but I'm not that worried about it really. Just so you purists don't get mad today, no drills will be used. So while I'm doing this, I'll give you guys a little bit of history on why this is called a Kaye Stratocaster. My understanding is Kaye was a jazz guitarist back in the 50s. So Fender used her for a promotion with a 1956 Stratocaster, I believe, and it was blonde with gold hardware. And so that kind of became known as the Kaye Stratocaster. And I have done as much research as I can, but it's very difficult to find information on the Kaye guitars. But there's very few made, from my understanding. I've seen some reports of people saying there were only less than 100 made or less than 50 made. Those might not be perfectly straight, but there you go. You know, and if you're a Stratocaster guy like me, to see this gold hardware is very special. It's just a really rare thing, and to have it on a 50s guitar, it's just really cool. On the 57s, I believe they went to the string spacer, maybe in 57 or 58, but my 59 has the spacer. However, this is the original string tree to this guitar, and there is no string spacer, as you will see, so I'm just going to leave that as is. All right, the neck is pretty much ready to go. I think we should go ahead and bolt this thing on. So whenever you bolt on a Stratocaster neck, it's kind of common practice that you would kind of get them all about a ½ inch in, and then from here you can just kind of evenly tighten them up. All right, finally got this neck on here. It took a little bit of work maneuvering to get it on there, but finally set right, as you can see. What do you think so far? Feels really good. Has that really big 57 V-neck. When I first got the neck, I did all the measurements on it, and you can go check that out, but it's almost a full inch at the 1st fret, which is huge, and it is an inch still up here at the 12th fret. So this is your real deal 57 kind of boat neck thing. All right, so let's go ahead and get the rest of the hardware on this thing. And as far as the bridge setup that I do, I don't really have the bridge floating at all, and I'm not planning on really going into great detail about how I set up my Strats. That's really for another video, but on this guitar I'm going to be using 4 springs. Alright, so in theory we have the screws just far enough in that it does not tip the bridge yet, because it has this little beveled edge around this corner that allows it to bend up like that. All right, so the bridge is pretty much ready to go. Then we have the original strap buttons and screws here. So this one was on this back side over here, and it's pretty well rusted out. I'm pretty sure this guitar was sitting in an attic or a basement for a long time. Again, guys, everything is hand tight on this. The input jack we will have to wire in with the pick guard. We do need to get the claw in here as well. Get the spring set up and ready to go. And please don't freak out if you see me put a ding or a dent in this guitar. This is going to be a player for me. I'm not really concerned about keeping it mint still. Alright, so this is just how I've always set up my Strats. May not be the best way, I don't know. This is what works for me. So do what works for you, you know. I like the 4 springs back there. And I'm going to do a whole video on my bridge setup, but that is not this video. And once we get it stringed up, we can kind of see where the tension is on it. So if I remember correctly here, it had this ground going to the input jack, and then this one to the volume pot, I believe. I'm just gonna have it set up the way it was when I got it. Seemed to work pretty good. The next thing to do is go ahead and wire the input jack. So we gotta wire these ground wires here. This is gonna go through the cavity and wire up to the pick guard. All right, there she goes. Gonna carefully solder that in right there. I believe someone has added in these wires to the guard so that it's easier to take on and off. So this is gonna go to the white wire here. This will solder to the black. So I'm gonna go and solder this real quick. I have it on my desk in my other room, so give me just a second and I'll be back. All right, so I think I have successfully got this thing wired up. I'm going to put the pick guard on here. And if you guys are still watching this video, I appreciate you. And let me know your thoughts this far. So that's how she looks right now. Not bad. Still pretty heavy. People are like, ash bodies aren't heavy. This guitar at least weighs 8.5 pounds. It's probably a hair lighter with the current paint on it. And just by holding the rosewood neck that was on it previous, I know this maple neck is lighter too. So it's definitely lighter than it was. But I mean, I can tell you right now, this is at least an 8.5 pound guitar. All right, we are almost there. I'm sure this is a long video by this point. I knew it was going to be. That's why I had to block out a good part of the day to do this. So yeah, we got the Diodario strings we're gonna throw on here, 10 to 52. And give this thing a test drive. Fastest way to string these guitars up, guys, is to put them all through the back at one time. Cut them all at one time. All right, so we got the strings on the guitar here. I usually have about 1/8 of an inch action on my 59, and I like the way that feels. You know, it gives you a nice clear tone. I'm gonna set this guitar up a little bit lower, so we're a little bit below that, and that's what I wanted to do, just because this guitar has smaller frets on it, and see how it plays. As far as the saddles go, you just want to kind of follow a 7 1/4 radius. That's the radius of the fretboard here. For the purpose of this video, we are close enough, so let's go ahead and tune the guitar up. So I'm just going to leave it for now, and we're going to roll with it. I'll give you guys a good look at it real quick, and then we'll plug it into the basement and see what happens. All right, so we got the guitar together. It's having a hard time staying in tune. I think it's just still adjusting to having string tension on it after so long. But 59 Tweed Basement is back here, turned up to about 7 or so. But just keep in mind that this is only a test, all right?